Hi pals, it's me, Artie, they them pronouns only, and this week I'm going to start actually talking to you about my med can, which is what I'm mainly going to call it throughout this video, for reasons. My experience so far, and if I could do things differently and knew about different resources first, I'm going to provide some here to make it easier for you in the UK, alright? Okay, so I have been on a bunch of different pain meds. That's a whole couple of videos in itself. I have tried and or been on duloxetine, pregabalin, amitriptyline, gabapentin. I can't take non-steroidal anti-inflammatories because of my Crohn's. Steroids, obviously. Codeines, different codeines, liquid morphine, and my GP has now run out of options for me to try. Gabapentin is the last thing. So, having next to no support from my rheumatologist on this, I decided to go down the route of medical cannabis. And that's the only time I will say it in this video probably because of censorship, so Medcan. I've had a bit of an awful experience, to be honest. I think I got extremely unlucky with the timing, as well as just a lot of different issues with the process of trying to access this medication. I tried looking at different clinics online first to work out which ones I thought was probably better. The main two I was looking at were Lever and Zerenia. There is also actually like a site where it compares all the ones available in the UK, and they're sort of like main information you need to know, like consultation costs, repeat prescription costs, initial consultation costs, because they're usually more, or swapping over, consultation costs if you are already with a different clinic, and then a lot of them have something to do as well with like the cost of product itself and what expenses you're looking at. And I wish I had access to that a lot earlier. That would have helped me, but yeah, I will include a lot of links and references in the description of this video for your ease of access. Also, just gonna plug here, would really appreciate if you tip me on coffee for doing that if you find it useful, you know, because oh my god, it's been a nightmare for me, and it has unfortunately cost quite a lot. I found out recently the costs are similar for going down like gender affirming care in the UK. So my trans chronically ill friends, I'm so sorry. It's like a double whammy, my dudes. So my initial investigation, I spoke to a Lever clinic on the phone. They seemed really nice, but they couldn't really give me a lot of specific details, and being autistic as well as being someone who's completely naive to cannabis anyway, I just really appreciate clear, concise, direct, but also like quite detailed and informative information. And unfortunately there just really wasn't much of that on Lever's site, nor could they give me much else. They just kind of go, it's oil or flour, and you're like, thanks, that means nothing to me. So I kind of let it stew for a while. Then I ended up calling up Zerenia Clinic because a friend of mine is with them and has had a good experience, and they were able to tell me a bit more information than Lever was. Lever also had higher initial consultation fees. I can't remember if they had higher consultation fees generally, but I don't think they charged for repeat prescriptions, whereas Zerenia does charge for repeat prescriptions, but their other costs are a bit lower. So yeah, they were able to give me a lot more information. The one thing that made me feel a little bit like uncomfortable was that I didn't really see a lot of information being like specified about contacting your like GP or like your NHS team from leather. I had no idea that that was like a thing, whereas zerenia, it's kind of like you have to do that. Like you have to allow communication between everybody to happen. So that was something that kind of made me lean towards using zerenia, so that I could feel, I don't know, there was just something about the way that they were upfront about that information that made me feel like, oh okay, they're taking this shit seriously. And I asked for some resources to be sent to me that still have not been sent to me. This was in December of 2022, like literally right at the end of December. I'm filming this early April. But there was more information on the website about how Medcan is supposed to work, which I found helpful and useful. So I did a bit more thinking about it, but I ended up going with zerenia. It was an £80 initial consultation fee. But I did ask a lot of questions initially of like, you know, is there anything else I need to provide? Is there anything else that I can do, or anything else you can tell me to prepare for anything that might be coming up? But that's as soon as I paid, everything went downhill, and only is just possibly resolved. And this was in mid-January. So yeah. And I've told them several times that they have to understand how dodgy it looks, that as soon as I pay money, their communication turns to absolute shit.
Looks really dodgy to me.
Like, someone told me that the payment link would come by email for a start, but then I got a text message. And I did not feel comfortable with that, because that's not what they told me. And also there's a lot of text message scams going around these days. I paid by bank transfer for the first payment, which then nobody could find for 2 or 3 weeks. I was sending maybe 2 or 3 emails a week asking for updates. I tried ringing them and couldn't get through to anybody. I put myself down for like a callback on the contact form on the website. I'd literally gotten to the point where I was looking at their like cancellation and refund process, because I'd just been ignored from that point for like 3 weeks. And it's really unfortunate, because when I do speak to somebody in their like customer service team or whatever it is, admin team, they're always really nice and they are always like usually very helpful, but their emails are awful. And that's my preferred mode of contact, so I can like go back and look at stuff for reference. You get a lot of emails that are like obviously automatic emails, and they kept saying that they hadn't seen my other emails, so I then had to keep resending what I'd been asking in other emails. And then I suddenly had an appointment ready with the pain specialist in a week's time at that point, and I was like, what? I had a conversation before this with my GP about going through this process, because I wanted to have that kind of conversation first to make sure that he was chill and happy to like assist with any documentation or whatever. So I was very lucky that, yeah, my GP was very chill about it. And also my IBD team have been quite chill too, where they're just like, yeah, we don't really know a whole lot about that, but go off. And like, I have already done some research into the benefits of using Medcan for my conditions. If I can find those resources as well, they will also be linked down below, because I do find using and providing actual studies to medical team members to be beneficial, especially if they're like resistant to things generally, or that you're just kind of concerned about that being a problem. So far I've not had to really provide anything. That is the only luck I've had in this whole Medcan journey. So yeah, he'd said it was fine and he would definitely provide whatever. So I got the appointment notification of in a week's time, and I was like, okay, so you magically now have an appointment for me that I've been chasing you up for 3 weeks, with no information from you that apparently you've had booked in. You've had it booked in for me the entire time, but could not / would not tell me for some reason. So I think that's a lie. I think it was total rubbish, and I think I was just put in as a cancellation because it was something that I've been asking for ages, along with can someone confirm that my payment has been received. And yeah, that took a lot longer than it should have done. When I did speak to somebody on the phone, she was one of the new like trainee people, so she couldn't even check for me, so I just had to keep waiting, and that's why I was like this close from just putting in a complaint and taking my money elsewhere and requesting a full refund. But then when I got the appointment, I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. There's so many forms that aren't really explained very well, and don't have a lot of helpful questions in them. They also don't tell you what happens in the initial consultation, but that is also feedback I gave, and they've added that to their list of things to possibly change. So hopefully that will be different soon, and I'll get more onto why that was frustrating later. But yeah, I think there was 3 forms I had to fill in. I can't remember exactly what they were either. Like they were just not great forms. They weren't particularly informative. One I think was for my GP, so to contact my GP and ask for supporting evidence of all the stuff that I've already tried, because there's obviously this list of things that you have to, like, criteria you have to meet to even be considered for medical cannabis. They usually discuss that first as well before you have to pay for anything. There's the form that goes to my GP. There was another form I can't remember what exactly was. I think it was maybe for the pharmacy / dispensary. So my information, and then I think the other one was the Project 2021, something like that, which is a Medcan thing that some of the clinics do and some of them don't do, but basically you get discounted rates on the product for filling in research surveys. I highly recommend doing this if you can, because oh my fucking god, even with this discount, I'm spending so much fucking money. I was then informed the day before my consultation that my GP hasn't provided enough evidence. And I was like, because you didn't fucking ask you didn't ask for anything specific. I then had to spend that entire afternoon finding my own stuff that I'd been asking if I could provide already for weeks. And this is also, almost all of this I'm saying is feedback I've given to them as well, where I was just like, that was a piss take, that I'd been contacting you for weeks about if there's anything else that I can provide, and it was always a no until the day before my appointment. And unless I got these documents in on time, my appointment the next morning could be cancelled. So I had to wait for somebody to confirm that everything had come through and was what they needed to even know if I was still having that appointment the next day. And I was fucking livid. That was really bad. Then the appointment itself was also really bad. It seems like now I have access to a Medcan Facebook group and Reddit thread, what the fuck ever. I don't really use Reddit, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But now I have access to those. I've seen that some people have had issues with the new consultant. I don't know necessarily how new he is anymore either, but about him having some very strange responses to the patients he's seeing for pain management, because he's a pain specialist, about Medcan. And I saw these after I'd had my own dodgy experience. So the reasons why the consultation was not great anyway for me is that, yeah, I wasn't prepared. Had no idea what I was supposed to expect how long for. So they're roughly like 15, maybe 20 minutes. And you have to go over stuff you've already provided again. The first question I was asked was, what is it that I need help with? So I wanted to try and give him a bit of my general story to explain how long I've been dealing with chronic pain for, and I wanted to talk about the sleep issues too, but unfortunately I was interrupted when I sort of got to saying, oh, I've now been diagnosed with numerous different conditions that can cause pain. So I didn't really get to fully explain anything, any of my experiences, any of my types of pain either, because I was interrupted and told to go through the list, which could have waited till after I was done, because I would have gotten to it eventually, but also I wanted to have a generalised, hey, this is my history of pain and conditions, and this is why I'm now here. I also had to go through all of my meds I'm currently on, and I had to go through all the meds that I've tried, all the painkillers I've tried, and I wasn't prepared for either of those things because both of those lists are long. So I feel like I wasted a lot of time just by trying to remember all the meds I'm on when he definitely had a list. And then when we got to talking about, he asked why I decided to go this route, and I said, well, I've done some research that shows Medcan has a lot of positive effects on a lot of my conditions, but also I don't have I don't know if I actually said this, to be honest. I don't know if I was able to, but I either wanted to or did say about my veins not being great, so that the other options I'd looked at for private pain management were mostly things that would involve IV/infusions. Yeah, I think I mentioned that in a video a while ago where I'd looked at lidocaine infusions and ketamine infusions and other kind of crazy wild things like oxygen therapy, and I was trying to see if I could access the nasal ketamine spray as well, but yeah, so this one seems the least terrifying, to be honest, and the one that's least likely to cause me more problems with my veins. And then when we actually got on to talking about the products they provide, the consultant kind of just went straight into,
we don't like to prescribe flower,
which is the vape,
because of the stigma around vaping Medcan.
and that was a red flag. I mean, there were a few red flags already because he interrupted me and wasn't super like nice or accommodating, but this one was like a major red flag, major red flag, because if you are bothered by stigma for drugs that you are prescribing people privately, why are you doing this job? You know, it really felt like people who do that really feel like they are there just to deny people life-changing medical care and steal your money at the same time. So I felt pushed into the direction of having to go for the oil, even though I wasn't keen, because I was worried that I wouldn't get care otherwise, pretty much. He didn't say how much it was going to cost me. There was no other communication about it. There was no further information about legality of things. Yeah, I just kind of was so overwhelmed and knocked off my feet from that appointment, but also the weeks and weeks of complete shit that I've been through, that I just went, okay, sure. Because I do understand that the reasons why they might prescribe oil first, or preferably, is because it lasts longer than vaping, and is helpful for sleeping, and doesn't have really many, if any, of those sort of like effects that make you high or anything like that. So when the appointment was over, I waited to be contacted by the prescribing people. I was not. This was another thing I had to then chase. I think the pharmacy was Curaleaf, and I've also seen bad experiences, like pretty consistently bad experiences with Curaleaf on the Reddit threads and stuff. They're supposed to contact you first with all the information, so you can send your photo ID and make payment and, you know, all those sorts of things. So I sent them all the information they needed from me, and I should have heard within a couple of days about them processing the prescription, and I didn't. So I then had to get someone in Zerenia to chase for me, which they did, and they found it out and got it pushed on. But basically they just hadn't bothered to process my prescription for some reason, or contact me, because they tell you to keep an eye on your spam folder. There was nothing in it. Nobody had contacted me. Then when they did contact me, the cost of this oil made me shit my pants. And nobody had mentioned the price of this until then. And also depending, like, I had no concept at the time either for the size of this bottle or what my dose would be every day. So I generally had no idea how to feel. I started to have pretty much a meltdown every time something went wrong with these people, because I was just struggling so much to get anything to work, to go. And I explained to them later on that I've used all of my self-advocacy techniques that I've learned and picked up for NHS services, and none of them worked with you. None of them worked with any of you, because you were just ignoring me. So it's been bad. It's been really bad. But I got to the point where I was just like, I don't even know if I could deal with it mentally if I changed clinic. Especially like not until at least I got my first prescription. The price, as I said, had not been disclosed with me, either the original price or the discounted price. So I was like, hi, can someone fucking tell me, is this with the discount? £150. That was with the discount. Apparently it's usually like £260. Mental illness. Let me show you the little bottle I got. I'm trying to work out so I don't dox myself. Like, I don't know if you can see. I'm roughly halfway through. It's somewhere around here. Want to see the applicator? This is a nightmare. Fucking hate this guy. I'll get to that. So yeah, found out, yes, that's the discounted rate. I passed away, but it was all being processed. I was like, okay, I've paid for it now. I'm ready. I will say the only upside so far has been that all of the payments I've made, I can claim on Shopix shopping app for points towards gift cards. I then got a call from Curaleaf, like telling me that the only bottle they have available was this one that I got, by the way, with a short expiration date, sometime like towards the end of April. Do I want that one, or do I want a smaller bottle that will cost me more, or do I want to wait until they just get something else in with an unknown wait time? Also for reference, Curaleaf apparently makes everything, like has and makes everything on site to then post. And they had one bottle left. So I said, I don't fucking know. I didn't swear, but like, I'm going to him because I'm so mad. But I was like, I don't fucking know, my dude. I have never had shit from you. This is my first prescription. I have no idea. I have no idea. And they looked at my file and went, oh yeah, you are a new patient. I was like, yeah, maybe you should have read that first and maybe not fucking called me. Maybe you should have spoken to somebody else. Because I feel like that was not my job. That should have been Zerenia or the consultant's job to do that. So I went, I will just take the bottle because it's what I've been prescribed and I would just like to fucking start this medication because it's all been delayed for months. So I started this, I think around March 10th, same, in the future, March 10th. I've not even been on it for a month yet, my dudes. But it's been a fucking nightmare. It arrived. I wanted to KMS because of the size of this fucking bottle. The applicator is terrible. It's just permanently stuck. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be a thing with like unused syringes. Like, you see that, right? You see like how not smooth that is. So my initial dose, oh my god, was literally that. Just that once a day for 5 days, and then it was 2 of those onwards. My first dose, literally, as I tried to squirt this because you do it under your tongue, splashed out of my mouth and went everywhere. But also, it says on the label for this that you shake well before use. What I've learned, don't fucking shake it with the cap on. When you take the cap off, it's got a little hole that's like the perfect size for the syringe. I now put my finger over this hole to shake because you only get a little bit on your finger, but if you shake it in the cap, this is what's been happening, is that it gets all inside the cap and leaks everywhere. So I'm sure I've lost a lot of fucking expensive product from just a really bad cap. It's like literally everywhere. And like, I have all of my old like bits of cloth that I've been using with it to just keep everything clean, and it just goes everywhere. So I'm just like, is it really worth it? And my mate with Zerenia, not only were they fucking shocked and appalled at my experience, but they were also so like, they had no idea why the product I'm on costs so much money, because whatever they're taking is a lot cheaper. And with my new dose that was suggested is 0.5 instead of 0.3 twice a day, that would be this gone in a month, and that's 150 fucking pounds, my dudes. And someone said to me a while ago, who wasn't like, it was part of the clinical like admin team, that maybe I would benefit anyway from a combined therapy because my particular needs are varied and may just benefit from a combination of things being done. But at the moment, I'm trying to take it slow. Like I said, I've not been on it for a full month. However, they did tell me that I had to book in my next consultation within 4 weeks of the previous one. It took so long to get my medication. I had to get the appointment moved because I wouldn't have even had the product for a start, or I would have only had it for maybe a week. So I had the second appointment as well, and he was much nicer. So I think he's been spoken to, and he was open to the possibility of me starting vape / flower. He was also, he didn't tell me to up the dose. I said, do you suggest or recommend a dose change? And he said, oh, you can up it to 0.5 twice a day instead. So yeah, that's the experience so far. I did have a very long conversation on the phone with one of the staff at Zerenia, who is also now going to be like the person I for the attention of my emails to, because I've just had enough of different people responding to me and not having useful answers because they just don't have any idea who I am or what's going on. So again, she was very lovely and I really appreciated her. I appreciate the customer service they have there. They do actually apologise for the shit that they fuck up, because I went through all this with them and they were like, yeah, it really sounds like you've just gotten so unlucky at every single turn and we are so sorry because that doesn't normally happen. I'm like, thank you. I feel at least seen, and I feel like you give enough of a shit to take some notes and try and do something. It had been elevated to a complaint without me even asking, because I ended up sending an email being like, I'm at the end of my fucking rope with this. This is completely ridiculous, everything that's been happening. I'm honestly fed up. I kind of want to go to a different clinic because of how awful this has all been. They have also got an investigation open for that consultant. I don't know whether it's just to talk to him or just to gather everything together or what, but that they've also taken some of my feedback on board for things that they can change, like what to expect from the consultations. I also said to them that these are fucking shit, so if you want to tell Curaleaf that, and you know, I told them about Curaleaf being fucking stupid, calling me a first-time patient. What do I want to do about the medication I've never had before? Can't even like compartmentalize or understand what I'm getting or what I'm supposed to be doing with it. After all of that, how's it going for me? I don't know. I think it's helping in some ways. I have definitely had better sleep when I haven't been having flare-ups. I think it is helping. I think it's one of those things that takes time, and it needs time to build up in your system as well, and time for you to work out when and how is the best way to take your medication. I'm still working out the best time in the evening and the best sort of like dose, whether I take it in 2 separate doses or 1 or what. Currently I'm gonna wait for the next couple of months. I'll have to buy another one of these either way in that time to see if that alone is helping. But I did mention in that last consultation that it didn't really do anything when I was in a flare-up that isn't sort of like my baseline chronic pain problems, that maybe something else would be beneficial as well. So maybe the next time I have a consultation we will discuss that, possibly going on or starting flower for vaping, and then we'll maybe see about managing that balance as well between the oil and vaping, what will benefit my particular needs. So yeah, I haven't seen miracles yet, but I think it's doing something. Yeah. Not to put people off, because I think it's important to be able to access different options for medical care. So if this is your next preferred approach, here are different things for you to learn from that can possibly be happening that might be really fucking sucky to try and deal with. As I said, I will give you all my resources that I have found so far and have found useful and would have found useful when I was starting. Another reminder of my coffee, because as I said, this stuff is fucking expensive and I want to KOS. I had to replace my phone recently too, so fuck my life. For more on how the actual medication is going, I will update probably in a few months' time. I think it will take maybe at least 3, if not more, to like get more of a gauge on how I'm actually feeling about it and how it's actually responding to me. And also I'll let you know if anybody else is not super happy about me doing this, because I haven't spoken to my rheumatologist since doing this, so but everyone else seems fine, so we'll see. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you're also doing this, what your experiences have been, because that was the other thing. In my research, I then started to just get so overwhelmed after having all this shitty like experiences so far, that actually everywhere has a very, very like high 50-50 chance of a good or a bad experience, it seems. In the Reddit threads particularly, I noticed that pretty much every single place had a lot of really good or really bad experiences. And sometimes it's just throwing your balls and hoping something happens. That's kind of what I'd already done, so I'm just letting it play out, you know. Again, as an autistic and ADHDer, it can be really, really difficult to make those decisions when everybody's experiences are so mixed. But also, ADHD is on stimulants, anyone on stimulants. Apparently CBD specifically can have a similar effect that orange or citrus products have on your stimulants, and it can stop them from working, so you can't take them at or near the same time. I tend to try and take my Medcan oil in the afternoons, especially definitely in the evenings before bed, because yeah, like I said in many of my videos, pardon me, I have a lot of pain insomnia, and I feel like this has been at least helping a little bit with the taking that edge off and letting me sleep pretty decently until I got sick. So until I picked up a virus and I can't breathe from my nose, so I'm just always keep waking up because I just can't breathe. But I think that's everything I've got so far. Leave a like, leave your comments down below, algorithm things, support a small creator. Please help me make this pay me, because oh my god, poor bitches in the UK. Pain management is fucking bullshit. If there's anything that I didn't mention, definitely ask in the comments as well. I'll happily like share more and add it to like the next video I make on this. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see me more, or if you want to be notified when I do make the update down the line. Yeah, that's it from me this week. I'm gonna go lay down. I'm a little bit tired. I've done a lot today. I've been really busy this week, like the last week, so this is my week off where I just kind of do a little bit less than the week before. I also had to replace my glasses lenses, so that was another bill, so buy my art if you're UK based, because I have lots of art that needs to be sold and I need to pay my bills. Thanks, XOXO. I'll see you next week. Bye. Hi pals, it's me, Artie, they them pronouns only, and this week's video is the medical cannabis update, to be honest. To be honest, I have been putting it off because it's not exactly a fast process, but I feel like we've kind of settled into something a lot more consistent, a lot less chaotic, and I have the story to share and then some thoughts and tips and whatever as well. So I think where I left this last video off was I had a conversation with the Zerenia clinics, like customer service people, basically to be like, this has been a fucking awful experience all around. Like, you can't just tell me that it's one person's problem. Everybody I speak to or try to get any answers from have been fucking terrible. So I decided after that conversation I was going to give them another chance, and it just continued to not go well. Basically, I was getting towards the end of my first oil that I was given, and I was like, okay, I need a repeat prescription please. They couldn't get the same oil. I was like, that's fine, whatever. Can someone, like, can it just be prescribed that I have something of a similar strength or whatever, either the same price or under? I think the first one I paid for was 150. They booked in an appointment that I couldn't make, but they were like, if you can't make it, that's fine, they'll just sort it out for you anyway. So the oil that came was cheaper. It was £120 I think, but it was a lot stronger than what I was on, which is also fine. I was taking a lot, like it wasn't going to last even, like it would probably maybe last a month, and that's a lot of money per month. So I went from like it was really weak with the THC, so it was something like 5 milligrams, milliliters, whatever their measurement system is, to like 30 of CBD. The one I received was, I think it was meant to be 15-30, but it ended up being 17 to 29 or something. So that was more than 3 times as strong as the first one I had, which, I mean, that's that's fine by me, but it was a whole extra learning curve with trying to work out how much to take. I kept taking too much and then kind of being stuck in my chair for 2 hours, feeling kind of weird, because if I moved too much, my body was like, no thank you, actually. But eventually it was like fine. I worked out that I just basically did not need to take very much. And also, yeah, that's the thing with oils, is the higher the potency, the cheaper it is in general to buy, because then it will last longer. And I can't remember what necessarily, there were other issues that were just going on and the same issues as before, and I can't really remember specifically what they were. I think it was literally just those issues with getting a repeat oil. I think I contacted maybe the person that I had been talking one-on-one with and was like, yeah, I would think I'd prefer to just continue working with the same person. So she told me to just use the subject of the email to like, for the attention of, and her name. So when I did that, somebody else answered but didn't tell me that she was away. So I was like, I don't want to talk to you. We have an agreement that this is what's going to happen because I've had so many issues with your service. So the subject says for the attention of someone else and you are not that person. So, and they were like, oh, she's away on holiday, but I'll leave it for this person. I was like, fine, but you should have fucking told me that. The usual communication problems I have literally everywhere, where it was literally just like, people don't bother providing me with the information I actually need. So I waited for her to come back. Didn't get a reply for an extra week, so I nudged a few times, which then ended up delaying my repeat prescription a lot. And during this time was when I was looking at the other clinics to decide if or where I was going to transfer to. I decided to go with alternaleaf because it's a new clinic in the UK, but it's from a bigger already existing clinic in Australia. So I looked at their website, the Australian one, because the UK one doesn't have a lot of information on it really, or it didn't when I was looking. The Australian website had a lot more information on it generally, including lots of helpful blog posts as well, which not many of the UK clinics have either. Like, I do think the UK clinics could do with having more useful, informative blog posts, because a lot of the time you're just finding out stuff that you didn't know you should have been thinking about or planning for. But like, the main thing that they said on their site is that they were empathetic, sympathetic to their clients, they were non-judgmental and had a focus on compassion, which I felt like was lacking at Zerenia, particularly with the consultant I had there, but also just generally with how shit the rest of the service was. So yeah, it took a while for me to get the oil from Zerenia before I could then feel comfortable enough to sort out anything with alternaleaf. But I was asking them lots of questions, they were answering them with a lot more detail and were a lot more clear and specific and helpful when it comes to talking about having like a budget, really, that you like. They still don't really talk pricing. They were a little bit more adaptable and open to working with you. They have an online form to fill in for all of your like past health history and stuff like that. So of course I'm talking from the perspective of using this service from a chronic pain point of view. I don't know what the mental health point of view is or would be like. So yeah, they have a quite detailed and good online form. However, it didn't work when I was using it. I think I tried to fill it in 4 times and open different windows and it just wouldn't submit. So I ended up just emailing them my PDFs and being like, this is like most of what you really need from me. I used Canva to compile my physical documents into a couple of digital files to send them, which makes it a lot easier generally. So I did get like an overview from the GP, which doesn't say a lot, to be honest, especially when you're a chronically ill person with chronic pain. Like, it does say your diagnoses, but it's not that specific. It doesn't really go into what treatments you've had, which is why I went this route as well of like making my own PDFs for to send them.
Especially with my experience of Zerenia, who asked me for more specific documents the day before my first consultation, when I'd been asking lots of this information for weeks and weeks and weeks, like, do I need to provide this, that and the other? I was really trying to get ahead of any of these sorts of issues with this next clinic.
Because then I took photos of old letters, old prescriptions showing which medications I've already tried for pain relief, photos of the 2 pain management clinics I've been to, some physio ones, all on the NHS, and I think a couple of other things, but I don't really remember. But the online form also lets you fill in things that you've actually done and tried outside of the NHS, which I think is helpful, because a lot of people are not really respected or believed a lot of the time when you have chronic pain and lots of chronic health conditions. So a lot of other people may not have had the access that I've been able to have to certain services and trying different kinds of medications. So I don't know whether that necessarily will be more helpful, that they will also take that into consideration for you, but I just liked that was an option to put in there, because I have tried a lot of shit, my dude. I have a very long list of like homeopathic things I've tried, and yeah, you know, complementary therapies for pain relief, pain management. Seen a lot of people privately because the NHS services are not great, my love. They are not good when it comes to any of this stuff. So I just sent all of that by email instead, and was like, look, this form's just not working. So here is most of what you are asking for. It is the bare minimum of what you need to know about, which is, I think, medication and pain management clinics and diagnoses for this. And then I sent an email to Zerenia that asked for, I don't remember what the word is. What is the word for asking to just not discharged? I think that's the word. I asked to be discharged from their service, as I have or was now approaching a different clinic, and that was pretty easy, to be honest. They just sent me a discharge letter. Alternaleaf didn't require to see that letter, and yeah, before I asked for that anyway, I was starting the process of going to be part of the alternaleaf clinic. I also contacted T21, Project T21, to ask what I needed to do with that when it comes to changing clinics, and they said I just need to tell them what clinic I've changed to, and once I've done it. So I did that, and to be honest, I don't think I'm even really using Project T21 products. I think the clinic I'm now using just gives me cheaper stuff that doesn't necessarily come under Project T21, but is cheaper than the discounted version of stuff I was getting. But yeah, so I saw a pharmacist first at Alternaleaf. The consultation costs covered both the pharmacist and your first pain specialist consultant appointment, and it seems like they are also now like one of the cheapest places to go to for consultation costs. Like, everywhere else has changed their prices. Also, since I left Zerenia, their prices have like shot the fuck up. But also now don't charge for repeat prescriptions, but everything else costs a fuck ton more. So I'm glad I changed, because what the fuck. Yeah, I saw the pharmacist first, who was very nice and very kind. Kind of immediately asked why I wasn't already on flower, or if I wanted to take flower, or if I wanted to try it rather. And I was like, you know, I would like to give that a go. This appointment was also quite good for like filling in the gaps I wasn't able to like provide them beforehand, because their form didn't work. So it was also just going through my history verbally as well, so at least they could fill in some of those things that I wasn't able to provide in other ways. And then yeah, because the clinic is very new, I actually got to see the pain specialist literally like 25 minutes after this pharmacist appointment, which I was not expecting, but I was very pleased. I was like, yeah, give me that one. Because then it was like, I expected to maybe have a week or two delay between the pharmacist appointment and the pain specialist, so I was glad that actually I could get both done in the same day. I'm not going to say that's going to be everyone's experience, but it was mine because it was a newly opening clinic, so I think they just had more time slots open. So yeah, I basically got all the initial things sorted out. I didn't need any oil because I had had such a delay with oil previously. In this first appointment we sorted out getting a flower prescription sorted. We went for something balanced because I have never really been any kind of cannabis smoker or anything really. A very small handful of experiences. So I was prescribed Tilray Warlock. I don't know, it has like quite a long name, but it's yeah, quite a balanced one. It's a 9% THC and 9% CBD, and they tried to only give me 10 grams, but it's only available in 15. I was like, I don't really care that much. They didn't know the cost of it when I asked, and their estimation was a little bit mental. So they told me to contact IEPS Pharmacy to ask what the cost is, because that's the pharmacy that they use. Even though like I thought there was a pharmacy directly linked with them, but maybe there is, maybe there isn't, maybe they are planning to get there, but they use IPS at the moment. I mean, I think every clinic allows you to choose whatever pharmacy you want to use anyway. So I contacted them and they basically said that yeah, the price is like, I think it was 60 to 75 pounds for the 15 grams. And again, I have no idea what that means. I was like, yeah, that's a much better price than what I had been quoted before, and that's fine. I will just go for that. I had to confirm all that by email. Yeah, I mean, honestly, both oil and flower have been an experience of getting used to. After this, obviously, I've had another appointment with them where I needed more oil, and again, couldn't get the same oil. So we went with another one that was balanced again. I think it was a 12.5 this time instead, and that was even cheaper than the last one. I think it was about 75 as well. Might have been a bit more than that, I don't remember. 75 to like 90 something. But like I had, you know, the first oil I'd been prescribed was 150, and that's with the discount. And like when prices are just not really relatively easily available, or like you're not allowed to ask or be allowed to be told what a lot of the costs are because of weird UK advertising laws, that's been one of the more difficult things for me to get my head around. But yeah, they were able to tell me by email what the cost of the flower was and what the cost of the oil was. So I don't know whether that's just being a newer clinic, they're more willing to discuss it with me, or depending on, I suppose, the staff there. I don't know, but they've definitely been a lot more forthcoming about costs of things. And yeah, it's been an adjustment getting used to pretty much just using any of this stuff, because I have never liked the taste of the oil, and I was like, oh, I'm sure the flower will be better. The flower was hard to get used to. This has a really weird taste and smell. Like really don't like the smell. And the taste is quite like, it's very floral. I'm not sure I like that, you know, but it's definitely very gentle. This particular flower product I have at the moment, you know, it's really good for beginners who have literally no idea what they're doing, no idea what their reaction's going to be to medical cannabis, that sort of thing. because like genuinely it's not hard to get high on, but it's hard to get too high, if you know what I mean. Like the handful of small experiences I had before medical cannabis, the reason why it remained like a small handful of experiences was just because it was way too easy for me to get just like too high and it no longer be fun anymore. It's a really good one for beginners because no matter how much you either put into your vaporizer or how much you do actually vape, it is really hard to vape too much of it to get too high. And yeah, having dropped down to a 12.5 from like a 17 or whatever of the oil, even though this current oil smells more like weed, it doesn't, I don't accidentally get high with it, but I'm currently using quite a bit more of both than I was really expecting. I still have a lot of the flower left. I obviously have been dealing with a lot of pain flare-ups and sleeping problems recently. If you haven't seen it already, I went to Norway and I went with this and my oil. You can see the whole experience there as well, and I don't know if I really specified details on that, but yeah, since having done a lot of traveling around recently and trying to like be out and do things a bit more, I have been having a lot more issues with pain, so I have been vaping a lot more, and I'm taking a little bit of a bigger dose of the oil than I was previously. And I am sort of at a point where I'm like, I don't really know if this is really strong enough anymore, and I'm now sort of like, do I up the temperature of my vape, because the temperature also adjusts how strong it is, and I do think generally I would like a higher concentration oil than the 12.5. But at the start the flower was great for helping me get to sleep. The oil helps me stay asleep, because yeah, I compare, flower is more like cocodamol, it's more like an as and when kind of acute pain, and the oil is a bit more like a gabapentin or pregabalin, which is like one you take every day anyway for just the chronic stuff that's always going on. So yeah, I try to take the oil close to bedtime so it lasts through the night at its most like potent, and I tend to vape right before I go to bed as well, but also sometimes earlier in the day or whatever, depending on my pain levels and stuff like that. So yeah, the vape was helpful with me getting to sleep. It gives like quite a comfortable, soft, hazy, sleepy sleepy kind of high. But yeah, I'm not so sure it's working as well as it was before. So yeah, my next step is trying it at a higher vape temperature, and we'll just see how it goes. It seems to vary how much it does hit me in the evenings, and I don't know whether that's linked to maybe a snack or a drink with it. Like, I do find that sometimes vaping works a bit better if I've consumed something at the same time. Not sure if that's like a thing. Going to Norway, I literally took a small amount with me. I used the original packaging for this and I put the remainder in just like a jar here, and because I'd had now a couple of oil bottles, I transferred the majority of the oil into the old oil tub and kept a little bit in the new one. I got a travel letter, I got the original prescriptions, but like printed. Obviously they didn't send me the original prescriptions, but they gave me photos. They even brought receipts. I contacted IPS Pharmacy for like proper receipts for those items as well. The Reddit thread or whatever it is of the UK medical cannabis community like were just very fear-mongering, scaremongering about going to Norway with medical cannabis, and it seems like a lot of the people doing the scaremongering had never even been. So I did make an updated post there to say it was literally fine. Nobody asked me anything in either direction. It was the easiest part of the trip. I said, you know, I brought all of the documents. I brought more than what most people would bring to go abroad in most countries because of how negative the comments and posts have been previously. And I just wanted to make that post to say, like, hey, it's really not that big of a deal. It is actually legal in Norway as well, like it is in the UK, that you need to have like a special prescription. And my friend who lives in Norway said as well that they often smell weed in the roads or like on the streets of Oslo as well, so it's not like it's uncommon to just smoke weed out there. So yeah, I brought everything. I only brought a small amount so that if anything did get seized, it would only be like a small loss versus taking literally everything with me. So yeah, made that post, explained some of those details, and they can't read over there. A lot of people got very angry at me for like having a good experience. Like a few people said that they'd had bad experiences and explained their experiences, and I was like, you know, fair enough, but also they weren't the people who were like really angry at me. It was other people who were just angry at me for no reason. I did generally block a few people. Someone compared what I did to driving whilst drunk, which that is literally not even remotely the same. It would be a comparison if I drove high, but that is not what I did. Yeah, like I genuinely, these people were like reaching to just be angry that I had a good experience. I just gave some other people, you know, some advice, or just said, you know, you've got to just get on it quickly if your trip is soon. But you know, I was overzealous and brought a lot of documents, but I was not stopped. I even put my oil in the little like clear baggie for liquids. People looked at that, but they didn't care. So yeah, I never had to use any of my documentation. I was never stopped or asked on the street, particularly not by any police. I just told people, you know, like obviously bring the documentation that you need, but it's really not as big of a deal as a lot of other people have been saying. And yeah, just advised some people that I wasn't stopped or even asked any questions. I'm not saying that will be the exact same for everybody, but it's not as severely in the other direction as a lot of other people were making it out to be. Yeah, like some of the people were literally so angry for no reason, and it's like, okay, I'm just letting you know that now going to Norway with medical cannabis is really not a big deal. Didn't have any sniffer dogs come over to look at me, you know, literally nothing. And again, like I said, may not be exactly like that for everybody. In both directions, literally, it's like I didn't have weed. I also had other controlled substances like my ADHD meds, my gabapentin, cocodamol, and I just had the prescriptions for those as well, just in case. But like, again, nobody cared.
I had also just wanted to share that I'd had a recent good, easy experience, because I'd seen other people basically say that they decided not to bring any of their medical cannabis on their travels to Norway, even on short trips like I had, and I just wanted to make people know that it's worth giving a go, and there are ways that you can do it or deal with it so it's at a minimal impact to you and your medication supplies.
Yeah, it's kind of the main notes I made, but also this is kind of just how I take everything out with me. I have a little jam jar with a like pre-ground flour. I have my vape in a little Tupperware box, like literally I've found a way so it all fits in here fine, so it also just doesn't smell. Usually I have my prescription in here as well, and I do also have the little like shovel-y thing and the little brush, and whilst I was in Birmingham I had to clean this thing because it was just not working. I have also, that's the other thing, found it very difficult to find specific information on cleaning this particular kind of vape, even though it's quite a popular one, and I wasn't advised by the clinic what to use or try, so I just asked a friend of mine who I knew vaped. If that is of interest to anyone, maybe I'll make a more specific video about cleaning this stuff. I basically just made like some educated guesses based off of a different video I was watching for a different kind of dry herb vaporizer, and yeah, my god, oh my god, it really was like I'm almost a little bit disappointed I didn't film when I was cleaning it, because it was disgusting. I just didn't realize there were so many like parts of it that I needed to know about and clean, and it was bad. And once I'd cleaned it, oh my god, that thing like vapes like a dream. I was like, I forgot it even vaped like this. But unfortunately I literally didn't really have anything with me. I was in an easy hotel. I ended up using hand sanitizer because the like there's two substances that come out of vaping. One is the herb when it's dry, and the other is like I don't know if resin's the right word, but like a resin. It's very sticky. It's sticky and technically like wet. Is that the right word? I don't know. And there were some parts where both of those things were combined, and wow, disgusting. But yeah, I had nothing to really like clean it out with properly. I didn't want to do anything that was gonna break it, because there were some things I was like, yeah, just soap and water, and I was like, the whole thing? What do you mean? So I mostly just used baby wipes and hand sanitizer because it was so sticky, and hand sanitizer at least like cut through the stickiness and got rid of that, but it was pretty gross. I just genuinely had no idea. I couldn't find videos about this specific vaporizer, and I can't remember what it was called, a sapphire something or other, but I'll put the information here. If you have any questions for me about any of this, please let me know, leave them in the comments. I'll either answer in the comments or add them to a video, or a bit of both, as well as let me know in the comments if you would like to see maybe a video of how I clean my vape, because I can't find it anywhere, and just made some guesses. But also it's kind of gross. It's kind of satisfying to watch or like see how disgusting it was to like clean it. So I don't know, even just as like a satisfying video, if you want to see it, let me know. I can talk over it, answering questions if you want. But yeah, that's my video for this week. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I do still need to make my ADHD meds update video, so maybe that'll be in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you want to see more of from me, or like coming up from me. As I said, I'm a little bit in a sort of pain fatigue flare at the moment, so it has been a struggle to research and make stuff for YouTube, but we keep trying, you know. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye. Hi pals, it's me, Artie, they them pronouns only. I thought I would share a bit about what my experience going on holiday to Lanzarote was like. It was definitely very different to Norway for a huge number of reasons. We had a lot of issues when it came to me preparing like my medical related things. The medical cannabis stuff was literally a nightmare. I did it a little bit late, but from what a lot of people have been saying, it was okay on like the Reddit, and that usually they would sort it out at the last second. But no, I did not get that sorted. They were very difficult to communicate with. They often would just resend the same copy and pasted paragraphs that had been put through Google Translate, rather than ever like being that specific about if I'd missed certain documents. My clinic was also not being that helpful. They sent me the first time they sent me a travel letter that only included the oil, not including the flower, but also the Spanish medical agency or whatever it was called wanted like a lot of really specific information, and I was like repeatedly emailing my clinic that I ended up I tried calling them, no one answered. So I ended up sending them an email being like, call me ASAP. So someone did ring me and sorted that out, but they still wanted images of the prescriptions, but they kept saying recipes, and then were still calling it recipes after they clarified that they mean prescriptions. So yeah, there was a lot of miscommunication, there was a lot of delayed communication. I was like a week and a half out from traveling, and I was like, oh okay, I think it's fine now, because I sent an email on like that Wednesday being like, let me know if there's anything else you need, and I didn't hear from them. So I was like, okay, I think it's fine now, but I still contacted them the following Monday, which was then like under a week for me then to when I was traveling, and they said, no, you still haven't sent us what we need. And I was like, I sent you an email last week saying if I haven't sent everything, please tell me, and you didn't respond. So what? Now it's all like under a week before I leave. What do you want? And then there was all those issues with the receipt and recipe and prescription stuff, and basically they ended up just blanking me. They didn't even send it to me whilst I was away, like the license to carry medical cannabis. But I just never heard from them again. Yeah, I had a lot of stress leading up to my holiday specifically because of this, and it was never resolved at any point. I even had a friend of mine write emails in Spanish to them, and they just didn't even fucking respond. So I don't recommend going anywhere in Spain if you're on medical cannabis, because it's a fucking nightmare. Apparently it is very common of an experience for UK people travelling to Spain with medical cannabis. It is not an easy process of getting any of that sorted out. So you either need to do it well in advance, even though I'm pretty sure most travel letters are only for like 30 days. And they're supposed to be on your most recent medication. So if you've changed the medication at any point before you go on holiday, you need a new one. And yeah, there's just a lot of reasons why that was a complete faff. Yeah, it was very frustrating.
I'll try to add as much useful information, contact details, etc. in the description of this video about and for all of this, just so it's easier for everyone to try and do this for themselves rather than trying to work it out the way I also tried to work it out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments as well.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share my video on social media or directly with friends. Leave a comment down below. It all helps the algorithm. Let me know. Watching the videos is really helpful to support my channel and my push for getting this place to a partner. So I really appreciate the support I've already had, and I really appreciate the continued and boosted support as well. But then yeah, that's it from me this week, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Hi pals, it's me, Artie, they them pronouns only, and this week's video I'm talking about just another one of my medical cannabis updates, and some of the things I've learned recently, as well as some CBD drink recommendations, because I have an affiliate link, or like a few. I don't have an official link yet because I've applied, but like I can still use their affiliate links before becoming a proper affiliate link person. So more about that later, but links in the description. I posted my video about dealing with steroid withdrawal symptoms, and that means I'm in a lot more pain than usual and struggling to sleep even more. So a lot of shuffling around with my medical cannabis again as usual. So I think it's January. The January coming, I've been on some kind of medical cannabis for a year. No, 2 years. To be honest, I literally had in my brain 2 years, and I don't know why I said a year, but there we are. And yeah, I have just not really found something that works. Like, I find vaping helps. Vaping helps me get to sleep, it helps my pain. Great. However, it's very short acting. I also get wheezy, especially the higher the temperature of the vape, which makes what you have stronger. And also, like, if I do vape too many doses, I start feeling ill. So like, I don't really want to be relying on vaping for pain relief and getting me to sleep because of those things. I mean, it's great. I've not had to spend a lot of money on it because I don't use it much. I'm using it quite a bit at the moment though. However, so trying to find something that's a bit more longer lasting, that also doesn't involve my lungs, has been difficult. In the last few months, I've found that my clinic is now doing, they call them pastels, but they are absolutely gummies. They are literally squidgy. Like, to me, pastels are like fruit pastels, which are a lot harder. No, these are like proper squidgy jelly gummies. That was one of the options. We also discussed a different kind of vape, which at least would make it easier for me to vape like inside at home in bed, because it wouldn't smell in the same way that traditional dry herb, dry flower vaping does. But I haven't quite gotten there yet. At the moment, I am still on the same oil I've been on for a while, which is, it's changed name, so it's now called Curaleaf. It's just like a Curaleaf one. It was a different brand before. Full spectrum, THC 20 and CBD 10, and like, it's literally just one of these, a 30 milliliters, I don't know, bottle. And I tend to try to stick to 0.5 milliliters every day. Sometimes it's more, occasionally I forget and it's less, but like, I generally don't really find it does anything. Like, on its own, it doesn't do shit. But I'm still on it because partly, you know, one of the factors of why I even was thinking about medical cannabis was because of its anti-inflammatory properties, you know, whatever, because of all of my autoimmune conditions, which mean I am inflamed. So I don't really want to stop it just yet. But also, you don't want to change too many things at once, because then you don't really know what's done what. I am trialing the gummies. So the first ones I was trying was these. Again, so it's Curaleaf, 10 milligrams of THC and 0 of CBD. And I have now just started, I've still got a few of those left, to be fair, so it's not like I'm going to stop using them whilst I've got them, because they're not cheap. They're between 30 and 35 pounds a bag for like 12.
It's not 12, it's 14. For some reason, I can't do basic maths, but it's 14. 2 weeks worth if you take one every day.
Which is a lot. But also the oil's a lot. I think this one is £100, but it does last me like a month and a half-ish, maybe 2 months. Yeah, so like, this is the new one that I'm trying, which also, these obviously were orange flavour. And these ones are mixed berries. And instead of no CBD, there's CBD in these. So it's 10 and 10 milligrams. The orange ones are pretty good. They don't taste particularly weird. They do have a bit of a weird flavour, but it's not as strong. The mixed berries have a stronger weird flavour. I'm not really sure why that is. However, I did try those last night for the first time, and they definitely didn't really do anything. So I don't know how I feel about everything just yet. So yeah, the last 3 months I've been trialing gummies. Like I said, I've been on the orange ones, which were just THC. The issue I have generally with medical cannabis overall is that I find it really hard to predict if and when it's going to like actually do anything. Because I mean, like I said, the oil generally doesn't do anything on its own. The pastels, hit and miss as well, where the vape is literally the only thing that I can be like, yeah, that's gonna work, until my tolerance builds up, because it usually does quite quickly and I have to stop or cut down for a while again, otherwise that will get expensive and it will get shitty on my lungs, because I've already done that. But yeah, when the gummies and stuff work, it's great. However, the gummies do make me quite snacky, and I have apparently learned that is because it is just THC and there's not enough CBD to sort of even it out. So yeah, apparently the CBD also is like a appetite suppressant, which I did not know. I've never heard that before. However, I did give it a quick Google and quite a lot of things came up and I was like, nobody's mentioned this to me. So like, that's been something that's been happening a lot in the evenings when I can get the pastels, gummies, whatever to work, is that I then am extremely snacky, which continuing is not exactly ideal. But also I struggle working out when to take things so that they work through the night as well, because like gummies do last longer than the flower, but they don't last as long as the oil. It's basically how I've been explained. And I tend to find as well, like eating an entire gummy is a bit too much to do in one go, and then you still only get like the 6-ish hours, mostly really less than that, to be honest, like more like 3 to 4 of relief or being high. Whereas like I have found biting them in half and having a half like earlier in the evening and then having another half later towards bedtime at least tends to extend the length of like the gummies working. I do find that still works and actually works better than if I just consume an entire gummy anyway. With trying to work out how to like get these products to consistently work, I keep thinking there's a pattern, but every time I try to replicate it, it either just doesn't work or it's still very 50-50, because at one point I thought it sort of worked best when I took the like at least half a gummy with some of the oil at the same time. Then I thought maybe it was certain types of food, having them just after having a gummy or the oil, and then it seemed to be a different kind of food, and then it's just still very much like it, I don't know, it's just very up in the air. Sometimes it was that it worked better when I took them at the same time as my evening painkiller, my evening pregabalin. Sometimes not as well. Also, as a side note, I don't recommend people necessarily do the things I'm doing, because I'm genuinely just vibing through and seeing what works. To be honest, I could probably be doing things that I really shouldn't be doing because I just don't know anything about cannabis, medical cannabis generally. And there's not a lot of like do's and don'ts, whether it's on clinic websites or like, you know, any official documentation that they give you or that you can see on their sites. Like, it would be helpful if they had a bit more information like that available, but they don't, as far as I know. Other clinics might, but from my experience of Zerenia and alternaleaf, that like most of the websites kind of do next to nothing, and they're just kind of like advertisement and a way for you to put in interest. I just cannot find something that makes them work consistently, because otherwise I just feel, you know, very awake, alert, and still in pain. I am open to suggestions on this particular topic of like, is there something that other people have found like helps make their medical cannabis work consistently if they're not vaping? Because I'm open to trying whatever I can to get these to work consistently. I don't want to keep upping doses as well, just because it doesn't work all the time. Because when it does work, it works well, and like I feel like my tolerance is still generally on the lower end compared to a lot of other people. So like I don't want to up my dose for it to then possibly hit me even harder, which is not really what I want. I just want it to be more consistent with how it actually impacts me in the evenings when I take it. So if there are any thoughts or suggestions on what I should try doing, eating, drinking, let me know. I've even started, so I bought CBD drinks again as well to trial, but also I was going to see if my mum wanted to try them too, for some possible like pain relief, help with sleeping. So I was also trying them at the same time as having like half of one of these CBD drinks. And like I think maybe it works, but also I don't like, all of these things are so expensive. I feel like they should work better. So yeah, like I said, at the recent check-in I had, which was pretty recently, that's when I told them that these gummies do make me very snacky. Like, I will demolish so many things in the evening when it actually hits, and it's not good. I can't eat that many snacks because my food is expensive, because I can only eat certain food groups because of my Crohn's and stuff like that. I can't afford to be eating Holland and Barrett like M&Ms that are vegan, because they're so expensive. I mean, M&Ms are already expensive, but I feel like these are more expensive. He's the person who then suggested I try a different gummy, same THC but more CBD for that particular appetite suppressant, because as well THC is an appetite stimulant, which I think I knew, but it just didn't click. And yeah, I've not really had this problem with other products I've tried, so it might just be because it's like an edible as well as it being only THC. But like, I don't know. I don't know anything about weed. Like, I just don't. But yeah, I bought some CBD drinks again as well, to possibly see if they would help me generally. And these were ones, God, when did I try these? I think I picked these up in November like 2022 when I was staying at Maytree. And they didn't have the ones that I recognised at this shop, which I think is what the CBD shop is owned by Jeremy Corbyn's son. It's in Islington. I can't remember what it's called, but you'll probably be able to find it. It's like a cannabis CBD like shop cafe thing. I had also bought some chocolate from there. It was disgusting, so I do not recommend. It was vile. I'm glad they do a make your own sort of mix and match bundle now. So luckily I did one of those, and I've got 2 flavours that I got to try from that shop, which are, one is this one, raspberry and coconut, which is very sweet. And then the other one that I had already tried was the peanut flavour, which is just pineapple. And then I also picked up the raspberry lemonade and the cola ones, which do also have some caffeine in, so we'll see how that affects me. Thank you. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to see if maybe having some of these drinks would help as well generally, maybe help some of these things to work. The thing is that when I like originally was like buying and using CBD drinks before I started medical cannabis, was that I did find that my tolerance to them just like immediately shot up. Like, maybe the first few times I tried these drinks and didn't realise you were supposed to drink them slowly and you were going to actually kind of feel something vaguely like being high. It suddenly just hit me. I was like, oh man, amazing. My body feels floaty and nice and not in pain. And that's the feeling I'm chasing. And I have not been able to find it much since. I've definitely gotten close with these gummies and with vaping, but they're just not ideal always being high. Whereas like I had a bit more of a clearer head on CBD drinks. And as well, I think specifically these are generally my preference, like this brand in particular, for like 2 main reasons. Well, I mean, I guess 3. For one, they are a higher dose. They're like 32 milligrams of CBD, whereas a lot of other CBD drinks are really weak. They are so weak. But also, so's the flavour. The flavour is flavouring. the flavour is flavouring for Little Rick CBD drinks. Like, I don't know how to describe this one because it's raspberry and coconut. But like the peanut one really tastes very close to just pineapple juice. Like the flavour is actually decent in these, whereas other CBD drinks I've had are just kind of like manky, weak flavoured sparkling water, which is not the vibe. These are a bit more like maybe sparkling juice or like soda. I obviously still have to taste the other two flavours, so I will let you know what I think of those two, but I'm sure they're probably fine. However, I do also actually have affiliate codes for Little Rick. So if you are interested in trying Little Rick, I will link them down below. I also have some links on one of my blog pages or whatever, where I have put like my affiliates, what they're for, and some links for those. I can get anywhere between 5 and 20% from sales through those codes in particular. I have applied for like the official affiliate codes, because I do have an official affiliate code with, I think, Medisave. Yeah, with Medisave, I do already have my own like proper code, so that you don't need to continually like use links I put up. You can just use the code couldnt when you make an order, and then I get like, I don't know, I think generally it's usually about 20%, but it varies across these different shops. And then I've also got like the bookshop, which again, like I've got a page that's books that I have read and recommended and put in like lists that you can use to purchase from. But as well, if there's anything in particular you were thinking of buying and wanted to support me as well, like you can definitely leave a comment somewhere or DM me on my Instagram, Artie is Artie, and I can send you a link to whatever book it is that you're looking for. But when it comes to Little Rick, I have made the application for like an official code, like Artie couldnt for Medisave. So for the moment, it is just that I can make money from sharing the links and people using those links to buy stuff. So I will leave a selection of their products down below, but like, yeah, genuinely highly recommend these as CBD drinks. I think everything else I've ever tried is vile. Also, like, there's some brands make them in like the most annoying wellness way possible. Like, I don't want a fizzy water that also tastes like ginger. Like, I don't want to drink a CBD drink that's got grapefruit in it because I take other medications. And then as well, I think the other good thing about Little Rick in particular, I mean, it says 0 calories, which I mean, I guess is a plus, but like they don't just use the typical CBD, they have like a full spectrum. I think they have more information on that on their website, but I can't remember. But yeah, I just thought I would share and mention that because, I mean, I was going to make this video anyway. It's just like an update for like what I'm taking, what I'm doing medical cannabis wise, but also like, you know, it's relevant. I'll update you with the other flavours and what I think of them. I do think these, like, whilst I really like this flavour, I do kind of think it's a little bit too sweet. And it's the coconut. It's a little bit too sweet. So I am hoping that the raspberry lemonade is more tart, like a good mixture of sweet and tartness. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, the other thing as well that I discussed with the prescriber recently, they was telling me to like look on the Medical Cannabis UK wiki, not wiki, Reddit and stuff, I guess. But I don't really like it. I don't like it there. I don't like it there. It's full of a lot of dude bros. I'm just not like, hey bitch. So like, I don't really like the vibe of like anything on Reddit anyway. Really. So instead, I will also say it here, he was talking about like seeing or asking what other people have found helpful. I mean, I've already said as well, like, is there something that helps you make these medications work better? But also, is there anything specifically that you have found helpful that maybe I should change what I'm on to? Is there a particular oil or a particular mix that you I have read is supposed to help? Because then the other thing is, like, I don't really like asking people because everybody has such different bodies and different reactions and different needs from medical cannabis and like everything anyway, but you know, it just feels a bit silly asking those questions. But I mean, if you are more knowledgeable on medical cannabis than me, please let me know if there's anything that you've read, whether it's in studies or whatever, about like, is there a particular balance between THC and CBD in oil that will that is usually found to help with pain, help with sleep? Because I think as well, this is an indica, which I assume is the more like chill sleepy one, because I think, I can't remember, I know it's indica and sativa, but I don't know the difference. Let me Google that too. Okay, yeah, so like indica is the sleepier one. Yes, I'm 30. Yeah, I mean, from what this says as well, like indica is more of a body high, which it is what I need. My body hurts. I don't want to feel that. But I mean, I also get quite an intense head high anyway when these things work. It doesn't say what they are in the pastels. Oh, it's sativa. I'm lying. I am a lying liar. Yeah, they're sativa as well. I've had a couple of different flowers. I think my most recent flower is a sativa because yeah, I said like, oh, I need something to help me sleep better and relax in the evenings and dealing with the pain, whereas like they suddenly were like, oh yeah, well the other flower you were given was an indica, so no, a sativa, so you're like awake. Oh my god, mental illness. I can't fucking... Sativa is the head high and the alert. Girl, what? See, this is then the issue. Because I don't know shit, I'm trusting them to tell me what I should try. But this is now the technically third time this has happened where I talk about being in pain and struggling to sleep. And that because I usually take these in the evening because I can't just be fucking high all day, especially if I need to go somewhere, because I'll probably be driving. Yeah, like one of my flowers was a sativa, and both of these are sativas, which are head highs, alertness, uplifting, euphoric, creativity, wanting to do things, increased energy. Girl, what? Best for daytime use. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep. So I don't know how much they're gonna fucking help me sleep. But yeah, that's also basically what happened when I was like, yeah, I'm struggling with sleep still. And they were like, oh yeah, you've been given a sativa for flower. That won't help you sleep. And it's probably why you feel so awake and shit. And I was like, what do you mean? I mean, to be fair, I don't feel that awake. I could definitely doze off on a sativa high. But like I said, the issue I have is the highs don't work consistently. And they don't last long enough a lot of the time through the night. So ideally, recommendations for what would help me get to sleep and stay asleep and be in less pain, particularly in the evenings and through the night. Recommendations, any studies you've read, feel free to link those in the comments, please. Because I mean, that's also partly why I got some of these, because like I found that the CBD drinks, when they worked before I started medical cannabis, were very calming and yeah, sort of gave you that like enough of a light buzz that you could probably like just close your eyes and fall asleep kind of vibes. Like that's all I want in my life. And that's basically what I use flour for, is when I'm desperate and I can't get to sleep. I mean, at the moment, my sleep is screwed. I don't know what's happened already. I now can't get to sleep before 1 a.m. and I'm not staying asleep long enough. We're still waking up at the normal fucking time, and this keeps happening at the moment. So I'm a bit stuck. But also, the other issue I have to be careful of is that medical cannabis, CBD specifically, has, I don't know whether it has vitamin C in, but I know it has a similar effect as vitamin C, so can disrupt ADHD stimulants. So that's another reason why it's more of like an evening medication, is when I'm trying to wind down and go to fucking bed. Have like a nice chill evening and then go to sleep kind of vibe, you know? So yes, I would appreciate your thoughts. Please help, because I literally don't know what I'm doing, and like a lot of medical cannabis products have stupid names, to be very honest. I feel very, very stupid trying to say some of the names that I've read on the Reddit. I don't know, can we just have some normal names? I am 30 years old, I'm 30 years old and I'm not a stoner, I'm just disabled. Nothing against stoners or anyone under the age of 30, but I just feel very fucking stupid saying those things. I just want to say my Curaleaf or some shit, I don't know. To be fair, I also hate that they always ask what I'm on, and I have to type in a lot of the times for repeat prescriptions what I'm already on, because I don't fucking know, mate. And a lot of the times when I'm filling in that repeat prescription, I don't have it with me, so I have no idea. Also, yes, I went to Spain again. No, I would not bother ever speaking to the Spanish embassy or the Spanish medical agency ever again. I thought I was more prepared after last year. They are just as bad every year. They supposedly, though, now you don't have to have a license unless you're bringing loads in. However, they wouldn't actually tell me wouldn't tell me if I needed the license or not. I was only there for a week, but they were still mainly stuck on the fact that one of my prescriptions was from last year, and they were like, that's too old, that's out of date. And I'm like, it's not out of date because I still fucking have it and I still fucking use it. It's flour. Like, it ain't mouldy, it's fine. It's stored well, I just do not need it all the time. So I gave up. So I either recommend you work out how to use the cannabis cafes they've got there, because I don't know, and I'm too antisocial and autistic to even approach somebody to ask. They usually charge you more if you're not Spanish, which I think is fair. Bleed the tourist right, honestly. So yeah, I would also love, what are your holiday destination recommendations where the process of taking your medical cannabis is easy and it's just a travel letter or something, and like, you know, the prescriptions. Because that's what it was for Norway. Norway was so easy. Nobody looked at me. I literally didn't need anything except from just the documents, and nobody even asked. Is there anywhere else like that that's maybe a little bit nicer in the summer, or a little bit nicer in like UK autumn winter, that I can pretend I'm still in the summer whilst I go and spend my birthdays there? So yeah, let me know what places you've travelled to and had a good experience, because I've had it with Spain. I've had it with them. They can go shove it. Yeah, I mean, I have some other thoughts and updates generally about my experience with my particular clinic, but I might just leave that until my next update, because my next appointment apparently will be with a consultant again. Apparently you're supposed to see and speak to one of the consultants at least once a year. Nobody ever told me that. So I was like, oh, okay. I wondered why I was just always seeing some pharmacist, but okay. So yeah, I don't know. But I've definitely had some issues with this clinic that are really driving me mad. However, I'm not going to change clinic again. They're not bad enough for that, but it's gotten pretty bad a few times where you're just like, you're taking the piss. I will say one thing. I don't think anyone at alternaleaf who works the emails, customer emails, has any reading comprehension. Like, that is basically it. That's the main problem I have continually, is that they just do not read my email properly. They don't read my emails properly, so I'm tired. So as much as possible, I just don't want to speak to them. Everything's fine with the pharmacists. Well, besides that whole rant I just had about sativa versus indica, but otherwise it's fine. Otherwise it's fine. Anyway, so that's my update generally for now. Would appreciate people chipping in with their thoughts about my options for different medical cannabis products and also holiday destinations. And then, yeah, I guess I will come back in maybe a few months' time with further updates and complaints about my medical cannabis in the UK experiences. So, like, comment, subscribe, watch my videos, share my videos. I do also have a medical cannabis playlist now, so if you've missed other experiences I've had, go watch those. Go find out why I don't recommend anybody use Zerenia Clinic. Also, at least alternaleaf's prices are cheaper. However, they've started this membership thing, which kind of makes no fucking sense. It doesn't make it cheaper unless you're seeing a consultant or a pharmacist regularly. Otherwise, it's just more expensive than if you pay as you go. I don't know what they think they're doing, because the membership doesn't cover product. Guys, what are you doing? I'm really confused. So yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.
Hi pals, it is RT, they them pronouns only, and this is the first video of 2024, I guess. I've had this recorded for a while, I just haven't finished it. I said a while ago I would be open to doing like a how I clean my vape video, so this is that video. I kind of just start off by slowly removing parts. So this is the, I don't even know what you call this, but you put it on the end of the vape thing so that you don't burn your mouth when you vape it, because it's rubbery rather than hot metal, and it can get a bit gunky from the resin, I guess. So then you remove the top part and have to like slowly start removing the dry bits of dry herb, whatever they call it, because they get really stuck because of the resin, but also they kind of become one solid clump inside, so it's a little bit of picking and peeling, and it can kind of go everywhere. I don't do this full cleaning thing super often, but I try to give my vape a reasonably thorough clean every once in a while, so yeah, like using an old but like unused toothbrush to just scrape off as much as possible, removing the bottom grate thingy to either change it over or give that one a clean. I tend to go with using alcohol wipes and or hand sanitizer, things like that, because I personally couldn't find any videos or guides of how to clean this thing. And the things I did find about cleaning these kinds of vapes said like soapy water, but I don't know how much you're allowed to put these in soapy water without breaking them, so this is me trying to be careful. But yeah, so I use the hand sanitizer with like a little ear cleaner as well to really get inside that part of the vape. And that's the thing, I kind of watched one video on how to clean vapes and it wasn't this vape at all, so it was me trying to work out what parts were removable or not. But yeah, I would have had no idea that you could remove these sections, because even on the website of these vapes I couldn't find any kind of guide. They don't send you a guide either, they don't send you much information generally. This is the part that gets especially sticky. A lot of the resin sort of gets stuck in there. So that's why I literally just use alcohol wipes and some hand sanitizer and random cleaning tools at home. But yeah, I don't know how soapy water would even get rid of the stickiness from the resin, because like this bit is really sticky, and only stops being sticky when I use hand sanitizer or anything like alcohol based. And I don't know if or how you can really clean up and into that very top bit that you like suck on to vape from. I've tried everything and I don't know if there's another way of cleaning that. As usual, if you know of any sources, any guides, any videos for this particular brand or model of vape, drop those in the comment section, because I would love to know what I am missing or what I'm doing wrong. But so far this is what's working for me. You can usually get like reasonably cheap hand sanitizer. Yeah, so I also sometimes use just like either like a face wipe or a cleaning cloth. Anything that you can throw away, because I don't think I would want to try and tackle cleaning a reusable wipe. But it's just like somewhere you can wipe your hands or wipe bits of the vape pen, vaporizer, whatever the fuck these things are called, I don't know, during the cleaning process. Yeah, this is the bit that I don't really know if I'm doing correctly or if there's another way, because I've tried to remove that little like metal bit, but I can't remove it at all. I've tried removing, you know, the funny lip thing that moves around that you vape from. I can't remove it because it gets quite a lot of resin around the base and around where the sort of like lip protectory thing is. So I don't know if there's a better way of doing that section in particular. And then yeah, once it's sort of all clean and all dry, I start putting things back together. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, I do make videos on my personal experience with medical cannabis in the UK. If that's of interest to you, feel free to check out those videos. Leave any questions you have in the comments. And yeah, share my videos if you think they're useful. I also thought I would do a end of cleaning display. It's definitely been worse. It might honestly be worse now, to be fair. This isn't that bad. The first time I realised I needed to do that, it was really bad. But I was away from home, so I couldn't really record the cleaning. And yeah, pretty much I just have a small bit of Tupperware that I keep everything I need in, so that it limits the smell and keeps things safe when I go out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, etc. And I'll see you next week. Bye.